Darklings, lightlings, and hybrids, and everybody else out there. How are you? I saw a fun hashtag, so I thought I'd kind of get in on it and yeah, just have some fun. So, let's do it, right? This is hashtag one deck gone wild. There are like quite a bit of questions with this, but it seems really fun. You're supposed to use like one deck in your journey with it, answering these questions. I may not answer all of them, but yeah. So, number one, your first or your favorite sets of minors. So, the deck I am using is the Necronomicon deck based off Lovecraftian stuff. Yes, love this deck. I was going to do Tarot of the Sidhe, but um, then when I pulled this one out, I remembered like all the experiences I had with it. Perfection. So I chose the aces in this particular deck because all of them are depicted as these different tomes. And when I think about reading or opening a book for the first time, it is like starting a journey. Like when you read the blurb or um, even write in your grimoire, it's like planting a seed to a story or a journey, right? You're opening yourself up to it. So I think it's an interesting way to have the aces depicted in a deck. Number two is, what card reminds you to relax when it comes up? Um, for me, I'm going to go with the Two of Swords, even though I know it's like, oh, decisions or whatever, but this card is calming for me with this deck. Very relaxing. Um, think about it, just under the stars, listening to the violin, blindly having faith. But usually in other decks, this card makes me nervous, so that's interesting. Also, the Two of Cups, because a union are coming together, and they just look peaceful and happy there. And then the Nine of Cups. This card is amazing. I'd love to be that guy right now. Next one I chose is your favorite representation of insert card and insert adventure. I don't know about adventure, but I will show you my favorite depictions, and that is the Magician in this deck. I don't think he's like a lot of other magicians that I saw, and it's interesting because I almost wonder if he's based off of, oh, I can't think of his name. There was a Middle Eastern magician gentleman that Lovecraft apparently knew and got a lot of occult information from what I can recall from reading a lot of the books and lore. But anyway, I kind of think of this magician that he came across and the knowledge and wonder if he looked similar to that. I just love this card, love this depiction of the magician. And also the Justice card in this deck, right? It's kind of like, well, you reap what you sow, you know. So yeah, what cards change your perspective? Kind of this whole deck will really change your perspective. It's a little dark. Gives you a different way to like view the journey, right? But I really think this Star card gives a good change of perspective. Usually we look up for the stars, right? But we are made of them and we hold them in our hands. So it kind of makes me believe. I know they say like the fault isn't with us, it's within the stars. And to a point, I believe that. But we also encourage our own hope, right? And are able to navigate um, through life with adaptability and endurance in order to strive for what we hope for. I hope that makes sense. But another one is this Nine of Swords card, right? Isn't that wild? You're looking in the mirror, what do you see? And do you want to change what you see or not? Interesting, right? What card out of this deck, kind of stalks me? Usually when I work with it, or any other, really, it's been a while since I worked with this one, but I used to, like, daily. And I'm thinking I want to work with it more now that I'm picking it up and looking through it for this tag. That's the Wheel of Fortune. And it still stalks me lately. And it's interesting because this is it's my card for the year. So, yeah. I actually really like this Wheel of Fortune card as well. What do you think? Right? If I made this deck a meal, what would that meal be? You know what? Probably seafood. The Lovecraftian stuff, the monsters and all, you got the uh, Cthulhu octopus guy, and it reminds me of that game. What is it? Was it Sunken City? I don't know. I think I played it on the channel. I can't remember. But it was based off Lovecraft stuff, right? And it's where these monsters are kind of like coming down from the other dimension, but a lot of them kind of emerge from the sea too. Look like sea creatures. And it definitely kind of looks like those creatures in this deck. So yeah, probably seafood. They just have a Cajun buffet, baby. What is the deck's favorite book? Why, darling, it's the Necronomicon. Duh. Something I would change about the deck. Well, not much. Maybe the artwork to be more like hyper realistic versus kind of watercolory, or I really don't know what kind of art you would call that. But I like it. I love the art on here. I'm satisfied with it as it is. I mean, look at that. That's great. But just imagine this in like 8K hyperrealism. That would just be amazing. Which card would I hang in a room of my house? You know what? I'm in my room a lot. I admit it. I would hang the Strength card in my room. And why is because I think this is a great depiction of something I always try to remind myself, and that is strength and courage doesn't mean that you're not afraid, right? Or in fear. It just means you stand up to things or face things regardless of that fear. And I think that this card depicts that perfectly. So yep, that's the one I would hang, definitely. Something that sets the deck apart. I mean, definitely the depictions, the artwork, the fact that it's based off like the Necronomicon and Lovecraftian stuff. Because let's be real, what else out there really matches Lovecraft, okay? I may be a little biased because I absolutely love Lovecraft, but I mean, it's true. It's true. If this deck could have a superpower, what would it be? Why, summoning demons, darling. You do know that Evil Dead, that book was heavily inspired by the Necronomicon. Yes, as a big horror and Evil Dead fan, I knew that. Mm-hmm. You should too, just cuz. By the way, the new one is great. I liked it. Evil Dead Rise. Yeah, watch it. What card would be my pet? The Lovers. Oh wait, you didn't mean that kind of pet, did you? Moving on. This deck has no fear. To answer that question, what's the deck's biggest fear? It has none. No, honey. Nope, the Necronomicon's badass. Just saying. If this deck had its own collection, it would collect grimoires of witches. Yes, it would have an entire library of just witch and magicians' grimoires. Who is the deck in love with? Dracula. Imagine if those two themes were put together. So like Tarot of Vampires, Tarot Necronomicon had a baby. Ooh, yes. How old does the deck believe it is? 35,666 BC, and that isn't before COVID. Old, okay? Ancient. Who is the deck's father? I would say the most powerful Jinn out there. Asmodee, maybe? Azazel? One of those. What is the gender of this deck? It's genderless. It can be whatever it wants, depending on the energies. But it's dark, seductive, and monstrous. Maybe it's both. I like that too. Most and least favorite card and why? My least favorite. I really think they flopped on the Emperor. Okay, I feel like he could have been done better than that. Just saying. Like, come on, make the Emperor awesome. This is the Necronomicon deck, damn it. I expected more. But they did good on this Queen of Pentacles, I think. Very lovely, right? Does any card remind me of someone? And who? I chose two for this, okay? Because when I'm struggling with bipolar, it reminds me of me, by the way. Me. Yep. So the Tower card, when depression takes over and I feel like monsters and shadows are closing in on me, and it's just that stormy cloud. Ugh, but also everything has a cycle, and that eventually ends, and then I feel better and powerful in myself again, which could also be mania at times, but you get the picture. Yeah. Which cards give me a unique spin on my regular opinion of these cards, like if they would show up anywhere else? That would be the World, because usually when I see the World, it's a very nice card, right? But this one reminds us that you can see the world in a different perspective, and sometimes it isn't always that great, but there are still wonders to be found through all of that. Also, the Devil card. Look at this. Right? This is why I don't do cruises. This is why I don't like the ocean. It terrifies me. Yeah. And our last question, what is this deck's favorite tarot deck? Why? It's Cthulhu's Vault. Guess why? Guess why? That's right. You got it. It's Lovecraft. Yeah. Okay. Well, this was a great and fun tag. Thank you guys for making it. I will have the creators link in the description, and I thought this was wonderful. I didn't do all the questions, but you know, I love you guys, and see you soon.